Welcome back, guys. Today's infrared sauna question is about Clearlight versus Radiant Health and which may be better for different situations. This question is from Mike. It reads, "Hello, sir. Thanks for all your help. It's people like you who make the internet great." Well, I don't know about that. Sometimes we clutter it up with a bunch of nonsense, but I'm being funny. Thank you very much. I've reached out to Radiant Health and the folks at Clearlight. I did mention your code and name with both companies. The folks at Clearlight said the following about Radiant Health. This is a quote. I appreciate the update. Radiant Health Saunas also uses carbon heaters, just like Sunlighten. Any company using carbon heaters will take longer to warm up and even longer to raise your core body temperature. Carbon alone naturally produces a very low output of infrared. That's why they run their heaters higher, closer to the ceiling to overcompensate. Matt Justice is referencing our current sale price. However, I spoke with my manager, and if you are looking to order soon, he extended our health practitioner discount, which is an additional $100 off our sale price. Oh boy. I found their reply to be, and this is back to Mike. I found their reply to be confusing and was hoping you could help me. Is there a big difference between these models in the heat up time and total temperature? Radiant Health said it would be $3,500 for their two-person sauna plus shipping. Clearlight was $37.99 including shipping. I like the idea of the quicker heat up time and higher temps. Would you recommend just going with the Radiant Health one, or is this heat up time and higher temps legit, and should I go with the Clearlight? Thanks. Okay, well, I can definitely help you, Mike. You may or may not like my answer, as well as other people who read this. Obviously, this stuff is going to be my opinion after using 14 or 15 different saunas. And keep in mind, some of the stuff that I'm going to say right now, I promote Clearlight saunas, and I think they're great. But I don't like it when people say stuff like this, and I don't like it when people send things like this, or I don't like it when it gets back to me, because I think this is portrayed in a bad way. So I'm going to answer your question first. Both the Radiant Health sauna or the Clearlight sauna, looks like you were looking at a Clearlight Premier. Either one of those is going to be an awesome choice for you. They're pretty much a spitting image of each other as far as the features on the inside. I say this in every video. They both have the ceramic tile floor insert. They both have frontal infrared coverage of some type. They're both super low EMF. You can go and watch my EMF testing. Don't pay any attention to third-party test reports. I don't care what company it is. I'm not talking bad about any of the companies in this video in regards to using third-party EMF reporting companies. I just think that those things are a waste of time and it's total bullshit. You cannot take heaters out of a sauna, ship them somewhere, and then expect to have an accurate measurement of what the actual sauna environment is going to subject your body to. Now that we have that said, the Clearlight and the Radiant Health are low electric field, low body voltage, low magnetic fields, and low RF radiation. Hardly any. I'm sorry, hardly any in the Radiant Health because it just doesn't have a Bluetooth module. And then the Clearlight Premier is very low. low enough to where it's not a concern. That changes a little bit when you get into the Clearlight Sanctuary, but in this video, we're talking about, Clearlight Premier and Radiant Health saunas, which the price is about the same. It's like I say in all the other videos when people ask about price, I don't have any control over how that is presented. Some companies have a little bit higher price and then they subsidize the cost of the shipping in the price of the sauna, so you get free shipping, but we all know nothing is really free in life. Radiant Health and some of the other companies, they have a little bit lower of a cost for the sauna by itself, and then the shipping varies a little bit depending on where you are in the country. If you're in Alaska, it's going to be $1,000 to ship you a sauna. If you're one state over, it's going to be $150. So, it's about the same. It's usually between $100 and $200 with each other. Either one is going to be an excellent, excellent choice. I would be perfectly fine and happy and content and confident putting myself, a family member, friends of my family or friends of mine in both a Radiant Health sauna and a Clearlight Premier. That said, I usually lean a little bit more towards the Radiant Health. I like some of the creature comforts. The price is the same. You get a couple extra bonuses like the delayed start built into the control panel. Also has a heated bench, which the ladies really like. You can put a towel down and it warms your rear end. What else did you ask? Okay, so I pretty much answered your question. Now I'm going to tell you my opinion about this quote in the email because I don't like this shit. I think it's stupid. And I think it's wrong. There's and they're bringing Sunlighten in here. Sunlight makes awesome saunas. The build quality of the cabinetry is top notch. The issue that I have with Sunlight is that the EMF levels are too high. They're just not mitigated as well because the company culture there is not focused on, ultra low EMF solutions. That's fine. So it's not a good fit for what we're going here. But, we don't have to include them in some other comparison and say that the sauna is a piece of shit or, I just don't like this. I've always hated this. It's always bothered me. And we have sales reps and people from all kinds of sauna companies. They all do this. So this is not about any of the brands that I'm going to talk about in the video. It's not about Radiant Health. It's not about Sunlight. And it's not about Clearlight. It could be any of them because they're all, any sauna company that has a call center, that has sauna salespeople, do this. And that's what I don't like. The issue that I have with it is that these people are making shit up to try to persuade you. And I guarantee you, I can tell just from the first 2 sentences alone of this quote, that these people have never been in the saunas that they're talking about. And that's why I get so pissed off. Because I'm out here unbanding, pallets, unpackaging shit, carrying stuff up the elevator, assembling saunas, trying to video all this stuff. You got to have 8 arms like an octopus to get half this stuff done. Destroying my house. And when a sauna is bad, I get pretty upset because I have to take it all back down. I got to package it all back up. Then I got to wait for the guy to come in the box truck or the semi or whatever. It's a disaster. And then I get these stupid, idiotic emails. Not yours. This happens all the time, which is why, obviously, I'm getting irritated. But I get these emails all the time, and it says stuff like this. Carbon alone naturally produces a very low output of infrared. That's why they run their heaters higher, closer to the ceiling, to overcompensate. So, where do I even begin with statements like this? Seriously? If you were overcompensating and making heaters taller, going to the ceiling, it actually is not going to overcompensate for anything because your body's not up there unless you're standing. So one of the things in some of the infrared saunas that have the tall heaters, sometimes I wish they were a little shorter because in some cases it doesn't make sense that they're that tall. But by no means is it compensating because they're a carbon heater and then some other carbon heater company like a Clearlight is carbon and ceramic and it makes all this difference in the world. You're going to be out of your fucking mind to even think like how they come up with this stuff. I have no idea, right? And so if there's let me just put it to you like this. If there's a lamination machine and they're getting ready to make a sheet of carbon heaters and the layers and everything is going together, if you sprinkle in some ceramic dust or ceramic particles, what percentage of that heater surface do you think the ceramic is going to make up? Is it 6%? Is it 7%? Is it 9%? You see where I'm going with this? So if you wanted to have a carbon and ceramic carbon emitter, they're all carbon emitters. If they're big, flat, and black, they're carbon. If you wanted to have a carbon and ceramic emitter, it's the carbon that's heating up the ceramic particles in the emitter or that are conducting the additional radiant heat. And so what do you think that's going to account for percentage-wise of the overall heat difference? Is it going to be 5 or 10%? Do you think that if you sat in a sauna that had a 5 or 10% difference than another sauna, do you believe that you would be able to feel 5 or 10% as a residential sauna homeowner or residential sauna user that does not do this for a living? Do you think that you could detect a 5 or 10% difference? Do you see where I'm going with this? Some of this stuff that these people come up with is nuts. And so there are some companies out there like Sunlight that takes the heaters all the way to the ceiling. There's some other ones too. You could argue that the sauna of the year, the Radiant Health saunas, take the heaters. They don't go all the way to the ceiling, but they take them up too high. You could say that. But you know what? The electric fields are so low. The body voltage is so low. The price is so good, and the creature comforts are so good. The heaters, so if the heaters go up a little higher than we would like them to, I mean, you got to take the good with the bad with this stuff sometimes. And so a lot of this is, people are getting ramrodded or derailed by sauna salespeople that are just trying to come up with erroneous claims in order to steer you in another direction, or steer you in a manner that is conducive to what they want you to do, right? And so I have a little piece of advice for you. I cannot tell you which sauna to buy. That is ultimately up to you. I have my preference. Despite what I think about this type of salesmanship, which is obviously really poor, I do not hold this in a high regard at all. Both the Clearlight sauna and the Radiant Health sauna would be an excellent choice for you. It's very difficult to choose between the two. If it were me, I'd pick the Radiant. That's just because I'm a little partial to them. But you know what? I'd be happy in a Clearlight too. So whichever one is best for you, that's the one that you should go with at the end of the day. Now I've got a little piece of advice for you and for everyone else out there that is trying to make an educated purchase decision. I am putting together a guide. It's going to be a paid guide. I think I'm going to charge like $10 or $15 for it or something. And I'm going to talk to you about, behind closed doors, of course. If you see this video months from now, look in the YouTube description. There's probably a link to it. If not, the next piece of advice will help you. Anyway, I'm putting together a little course, a little guide that's going to show you how to vet this stuff properly so that you don't have to make a $5,000 purchase decision taking someone's word for it, right? I try to do everything that I can with the EMF testing, and I think it's pretty good. It could be even better. But at the end of the day, every time I turn around, I get these emails, right? And it's so-and-so sauna company says this. So-and-so sauna company does that. Or says this. And then they're bad-mouthing each other. And then everyone that you call says theirs is the best. And that one sucks. And da-da-da-da. So what happens? People don't do anything. They don't buy a sauna. They're just like me. They wasted 5 months, didn't buy a sauna. Could have been sweating. Could have been detoxing. Could have been feeling better the whole time. But because of these stupid assholes, we don't do anything. So I'm doing what I can to put together resources to educate you so that it's easier to make educated purchase decisions. Obviously, I've already answered Mike's question, and we're far beyond that. I just know that other people are going to see this, and they might be, left out in the cold and be like, well, what about me? And this is for you. Mike has probably already made his choice. Unfortunately, I get to these things, way too late half the time. But here's what I would suggest. Here's a piece of advice for you guys. When you get information like this from the various sauna companies, or even from me or from anyone, I don't care who it is, I would just slow down. When they start saying crazy stuff like, one heater type has greater emissivity than another, yet they're both using the same type of emitter, there's not going to be a gigantic variance between the two, right? I would just slow it down and pause for a minute and realize that sauna salespeople don't necessarily have the most experience with the saunas themselves. They have a lot of experience selling them, but they may not have a lot of experience using them. So the fastest way for you to know for sure if that sauna salesperson is blowing a line of shit up your ass or hot air or whatever is to just slow down, pause for a second, and just ask them. When they say something like this, so-and-so company uses carbon heaters like Sunlighten, you could just say, oh, okay, John. Well, I don't know who John is, but all right, John. When you used the Sunlighten, how much longer did it take you to sweat? And just pause for a second and see what he says. If he round trips you, or if he's real vague and then deflects into something else, or if he gives you some kind of bullshit answer and just say, okay, I would take a couple little notes. And then I would say, all right, well, John, what did that feel like compared to when you use your Clearlight? And by which model do you have at home? Which Clearlight do you have? Oh, you don't actually have a Clearlight sauna at your house. Oh, okay. Well, when you're at your job, which sanctuary model are you using that we can talk about so I can get a better idea of this, that, or the other? Right, and so I'm not saying that this is about Clearlight. I'm not saying it's about Radiant Health. I'm not saying it's about Sunlight. And I'm not saying it's about any one sauna company. I'm just pulling those examples out of a hat. It's these people that are just salespeople are very often talking about experiences that they've never had. And the way that I know this is I found out the hard way. When you've got a guy on the phone with you trying to sell you a $3,000 or $4,000 piece of equipment, and you buy into it, and then you get the damn thing, and it's not what they said it was, or you say, you know what, my spidey sense is going off a little bit, I'm not really sure about this. You hang up the phone, you find a spa in your area that has that brand, you go and you use it, and it's like, I'm sitting in it right now and I'm remembering what he said yesterday on the phone, and it's not exactly lining up, right? Then you start to realize that half these people have no earthly idea what they were talking about when it comes to comparing the actual radiant heat ability of the different types of emitters. Half these people couldn't tell you what a ceramic rod heater is versus, a carbon panel heater. Or half them couldn't tell, like, if these same people were trying to compare a Sunlight and Impulse, they're not going to be able to tell you that the near-infrared array behind the grill is nothing more than a 4x8-inch 50 LED array of near-infrared light-emitting diodes. Like, they're going to compare that to their quartz halogen heater, which is a completely different animal. And it's going to sound a lot like this, and you're not going to get anywhere. Anyway, I digress. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm trying to give, examples. I can't tell you what to do. It's not that one sauna company has a far superior sauna than another in this particular example. In other examples, there are. But what I'm trying to do is just lay this out for you and draw up erroneous comparisons and conclusions for things that happen. And, you're not the only person to send this stuff in. This happens all the time. That's why I know it, inside and out. I see this stuff coming a mile away. And it's like, okay, here we go again. That's why when I read these, I don't always read them before we start the video. I start to chuckle a little bit because it's the same old shit, right? But at the same time, some of these companies are really large companies. They have to have a sales staff. They've got to have a sales force or a call center or whatever. And that's just the nature of the beast. I don't like it. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not that one sauna company does an absolutely horrible job compared to another one. But anyway, I hope that helps somebody out there. We'll see you in tomorrow's video.